Rock Metal Nation, what is up? Real quick before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that Rock Metal Studios, the very same studio that brings you the Rock Metal podcast, is looking to help bands who are able to record their tracks either at home or in a professional recording studio, but need some help mixing. Go ahead and send me an email at therockmetalpodcast@gmail.com. That's therockmetalpodcast@gmail.com. We can go ahead and discuss mixing your tracks for free. The Rock Metal Podcast, episode 130 with Sanhedrin.
Are you a true believer? 'Cause I'm a lucky thief and enchanting deceiver.
Rock Metal Nation, what is up? This is John from the Rock Metal Podcast. That sample you just heard was Riding on the Dawn by Sanhedrin, who I've got on the show with me right now. They've got a repress of their album called A Funeral for the World, set to release April 27th in Europe, May 4th in North America on vinyl via Cruz del Sur Music. And right now I'm being joined by guitarist Jeremy Sausfield to share some stories about the music and share more info about the band. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
What's up? Thanks for having me, and hello out there, internet world.
Great having you on. Let's go listen back to that track, Riding on the Dawn.
Are you a true believer? 'Cause I'm a lucky thief and enchanting deceiver. At night we're giving some relief. We are the walking disasters, just like the living dead. No escape till the morning from that freight train in your head. Coming awake in the nighttime, the vampire's disease.
come back from Writing on the Dawn. Now, one of the things I love about this track in particular, Jeremy, is that it just kicks off, and next thing I know, I find myself just banging my fist in the air.
That's well, then our stated intentions amongst each other are working.
Exactly. And then, not to mention the hauntingly catchy chorus. It's almost hauntingly catchy.
Yeah, that song was actually one of the first songs we wrote together when the three of us sort of determined that we were beyond project and now we were a band. That was one of those early songs where like, oh, we're forging an identity here, so I guess we should give ourselves a name.
We should give this concept a name.
Yeah, so that was one of the first songs we wrote. We're like, oh, you know what? This could be a good template from which to base, our development from. And that hooky harmonized chorus is something that, as we're writing our next album, we're definitely mindful of places where we can put that kind of a thing into the songs that we're writing when applicable.
Yeah, actually, that's going to be my next question is, if that's the first track you wrote, and obviously you mentioned it was a template for further work, did it really steer the direction of the album? Did it steer the whole direction of going from, project to actual band? How did that song start gluing things together for you guys?
It just was like the first song, because prior to Erica joining the fold, me and Nate had, Nate's the drummer, Erica is a singer and bass player. Nate and I had been kicking some ideas around, and some of those ideas did wind up being used on the record. Ideas that had lived prior to Erica joining us. But that was the song where everything that was, one of the first songs where everything kind of came together with the three of us involved, and where we kind of all realized that this was going to work out. In terms of album direction, we just kept writing songs in general, and that's sort of what we do. And then as we're writing songs, we sort of start to put together a track list in our mind. And that song also led off our demo in 2015. And so we just wanted to give it a proper recording. But it is a good opener. It gives you an idea of like what's in store without kind of giving away the whole story, because the album is pretty dynamic, I think.
Yeah. Now, big question for you, Jeremy. What's the story or inspiration behind Riding on the Dawn?
Well, Erica writes all of our lyrics, so I try not to speak too much on her behalf, but I do know that particular song was inspired by an era of her past, which was a much more wilder time than, maybe she lives now in terms of lifestyle. It's basically just about being up all night, partying, raising some hell, and, kind of living a life very different from the world around you as an individual, I suppose.
Yeah, very cool stuff. Let's go listen to the next track, Collateral Damage.
to a garnet red dust. Ashes to ashes, we drowned in the sea. Something for nothing, that's what we believe. Decaying metal, it's all for us rust. Came ashes to ashes and dust to dust. It's always been a thirsty world. The wicked winds of change, they have come. Ice melts and sea levels are rising, rusting the perpetual engine. Lunatics control the asylum. We share a lust for survival. Ashes to ashes, we drowned in the sea. 'Cause something for nothing, that's what we believe. Decaying metal, it's all for us rust. Came ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Ashes to ashes, we drowned in the sea. 'Cause something for nothing, that's what we believe. 'Cause decaying metal, it's all for us rust. Then ashes to ashes.
Rock Metal Nation, it's John from the Rock Metal Podcast for a real quick break to let you know that Jay over at Metal Mayhem Radio is looking to help you get your band in rotation on his station. So go ahead and hit up Jay at studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. That is studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. Just go ahead and say that the Rock Metal Podcast sent you. He'll get you into rotation on Metal Mayhem Radio. Come back from Collateral Damage. Now, definitely a much more epic track. Like Riding on the Dawn's like in your face, fist pumping, Collateral Damage, we got that synth intro, we got the banging floor toms, we got epic guitars, a raging chorus.
Yeah. That one took quite a bit longer to come together for us, and not just because there's more, different stuff going on. It was just we were. So some of the songs we write come together very quickly, and others seem to take forever. And that was one of the ones that seemed to have taken forever to come together. And it didn't really come together for us until we recorded it for this album. Like, we didn't really even play it live prior to recording it, maybe once or twice, whereas everything else we had really drilled. And so that one was one where we really took advantage of the tools in the studio more so than we did a lot of our other songs, which are more just, plug in our amps like we do live and go from there. And this one I experimented with some different guitars, some different amps and stuff, just to create a more epic vibe on my part.
Now, when you mentioned that you did more tools in the studio, similarly, did that inspire changes to the tracks that you were already working on? Did that inspire changes going forward on future records? Maybe.
Well, not really. I didn't mean to cut you off there. But the studio in this case, we demoed the whole record prior to going into the studio. So all the songwriting and stuff was pretty much set in stone. It was just a matter of I only have one guitar amp for this band, and when we play live, I use one guitar. And the studio allows you to do stuff like, try different sounds, like a different, I use a Roland jazz chorus for the clean sound, which I don't have one at home. And I used a Strat with like an out-of-phase pickup sound, which is not something I would do live. Just stuff like that to add extra texture, which will, of course, inform how we present it live with the gear that we have, that we're limited to.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for Rock Metal Nation, who is just frothing at the ears at the two tracks they just heard, Riding on the Dawn and Collateral Damage, there is a repress of the album A Funeral for the World coming out April 27th in Europe, May 4th in North America, to set release via Cruz del Sur Music. Jeremy, go ahead and tell us about this album. What should we expect from it? Maybe some background story behind how you got picked up by Cruz. I'll just leave this one up to you.
Sure. Well, we recorded the album last year and we released it in September of 2017. And we released it ourselves. We did everything ourselves. We, straight from, just getting it out to the world. We did our own PR. We did all the duplication and stuff, managing the project, everything. And over time, the word of mouth via the internet and the, Facebook and the Bandcamp social network, which is the only place we had it posted, kind of took on a life of its own. And we started getting a lot of attention, particularly in Europe, specifically Germany. And we got some people over there. We started contacting us from magazines for stuff like that. And then through those people, we just got introduced to Enrico from Cruz del Sur. Cruz del Sur being a really cool label with a lot of great bands, sort of in our, traditional old school hard rock, heavy metal vein. That we got talking to each other and about, it really started with, getting us a label deal for the next record. But then it came up to also do a repress for this album as well. So we're looking forward to, the album reaching more people, as well as having a home ahead of getting the next album out.
Very cool stuff. Now, for Rock Metal Nation who heard that you are available on Bandcamp, that brings up the next logical question. Where can they find you on the web and stay in touch with you?
Well, we have a Facebook page. It's sort of the main focal point in terms of how we make the world aware of what we're up to. We don't yet have a Twitter or an Instagram or anything. So if you go to facebook.com/Sanhedrin Band, if you want to check out the tunes before you buy them, you can stream the whole album for free at thesanhedrin.bandcamp.com. And that's about it.
Very cool. Well, Jeremy, unless there's anything else you wanted to throw out there, I just wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to come on to the Rock Metal Podcast and sharing Sanhedrin with Rock Metal Nation.
Well, the pleasure is mine, and just a special thanks to everybody out there who's listening who's already picked up the record and shown us much support and much love. We really appreciate it.
Rock Metal Nation. Hopefully you just found your new favorite band in Sanhedrin. Big thanks again to them for coming on and sharing their music with us. Make sure to head over to www.therockmetalpodcast.ca to get all the information on the show you just heard today. And until then, rock on, Rock Metal Nation.